about the different journey this year is going to be. And I think there were so many positive things last year that we were able to accomplish. Obviously, to be able to compete for championships is one thing. To be able to bring them back here to Foggy Bottom in the Smith Center ended up living up to fruition. And I think that part we understand is in the history books, and it's a big part of what we're trying to do as a program is have great consistency. And I think a big part with having a chance to enter my fourth year is having players who understand the expectations and not only want to raise what the team's goals are going to be, but themselves working hard to get better. And there's no better examples than the two young women sitting on each side of me. As a group, 29-4 and an A10 regular season and a tournament championship, most people would say that's absolutely, completely satisfying. I think our group understands we got an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament, but did not get accomplished what we had set out in the NCAA tournament. And we talk a lot about an 82-69 final score, but I think this group is very determined to continue the precedents that have been set on every day as a GW women's basketball player, whether it be on the floor, in the classroom, out in the community. It is about getting better and giving back. And I'm really excited. We as we get going here with the preseason, there's so many new things, from the changes in women's basketball rule-wise to the opportunities that some of our young women have had off the floor, as well as with national team opportunities and tryouts. But I think the biggest part of the GW basketball tradition that is so rich and so deep is how consistently good Coach McEwen had the program over a long period of time. And that's what we're hoping. Our phrase is addition to the tradition, and that's what we are building on this year as we get ready for what we hope will be a very successful, a very healthy, and a championship 2015-16 season. Really good coaches. I think our team could say that they'd rather have them just be coaches and not officiate the scrimmages. But we're really excited. I think that part of it's allowed me to continue to talk to the team about you have to change, you have to continue to be a better basketball player. It's always a goal of mine as a coach, and it's added another layer. And whether you're talking about the four quarters, whether you're talking, we saw it about an hour and 10 minutes ago, play itself out with you can get in the bonus really, really quickly if you're playing defense outside of the rules. And I think it was good we saw that actually in our scrimmage today, and be able to, how are you going to react to that? So we've tried to implement a little part of it all summer and in the preseason. So when we have our first scrimmage in our exhibition game, that I'm a big believer that hopefully we've put our team in as many situations beforehand that they'll feel comfortable with that and they'll understand that part. And but I'm a big believer in them. I'm really excited about them. There's a couple strategy things that are maybe not exactly what I would have liked, but I think it's important as a head coach. I understand to think bigger than just my own program and what's going to make our game better. So.
Lauren, what kind of weight do you have on your shoulders going from backup point guard to a leader on this team?
I wouldn't say it's a lot of weight on my shoulders, just because my teammates are always there to support me as that leader for the team. So, and Keisha was a great example coming behind her last year. So I think that I'm embracing that role and stepping into that, and my teammates have given me a lot of confidence in that leadership role this year.
Josh, I'd say the same. I'd never, I think, ever viewed Lauren as a backup point guard last year. She started the first 8 games. And I think the maturity that she has, understanding, and us talking about it last year, that we were able to bring her off the bench really helped the depth of our team. And I think the reality of it is when the game was on the line, number 4 was on the floor. And I think that part of, she's done an unbelievable job of helping Maylin Batista and Shannon and Cammie Tappias make sure that our point guard group as a whole continues to get better and better.
After last year's season, successful run, you returned a good portion of your starting lineup. But keeping the core intact, what are your goals for the upcoming season?
Well, I think the team has gotten a taste now what it's like to be a champion. And I think partway through the year, with the winning streak we were able to have and the national notoriety, they started to see what it was like to have a target on their back. And I think that part, they've had that from day one in the summer now. And I think that's an expectation we want as a program. We want to be viewed as a team that is the team you have to go through to win a championship. I think knowing that, and every season is different, that the understanding of the team, knowing that to get to a championship, it's going to be a different road. It's a different road on who you play home and away. It's a different road of dealing with adversity, whether it be injury or something else. But I think that understanding of the simple, from each day, from practice to practice and game to game, can we keep getting better? That will lead to the ultimate success. And I think now that we've won both the regular season and the tournament, I think our team understands how difficult it is. And I think that part of things, it's really helped when you have 13 of the 14 people who played last year back. It's really, I think this group has done an amazing job to get Maylin Batista and Kelsey Mahoney on board and make sure that we don't skip anything. And they understand how difficult it is. I think the biggest thing about what our goals are, I think one goal kind of overrides everything. If you look at you want to expand on the getting better every day, and I think that's not be satisfied. And this group not being in that position where nothing that happened last year all of a sudden is going to give us a win or a loss. I think we'll learn from experiences, but I think an understanding of playing championship level basketball and getting an opportunity to be one of the last teams in the country playing again are two things that are common themes in our program.
Play when it comes to the success of the team.
Yeah, I think that our guards have to be a threat all the time, and I think that part of, I was really proud last year on where we finished. We're second in the A10 in assists, and we've worked a lot this preseason on understanding to making the right plays, and I think I have to watch sometimes because we play so fast that I have to live with some turnovers. But I think our guards have really taken that chip on their shoulder to say, you know what, the GW guards are every bit as important as these post players, and I think they take pride in getting the post players the ball in the right spots, but they also take a lot of pride in making sure they're a threat when somebody like Caira and John Quell and Kelly and go through the rest of our post receive a lot of attention. And I think with that is understanding, are they in a position that can lead to a great play, whether that's them knocking a shot down or putting the ball on the ground to get somebody else's shot. And I think they've taken that pride since July of getting extra shots up, being in a position where that they can score with contact, but still understanding, with what John Quell and her skill set, and I think you'll be amazed on how Caira Washington has grown her game. But I think that part, the guards are a really close-knit group, and they want to make sure that we don't have a weak link on the floor.
For both players, having gone to the NCAA tournament but had that loss, and clearly it's something that you guys talk about a lot, even after such a successful season and having more of a target on your back, is that something that helps you keep still more of a chip on your shoulder, just the memory of losing that game and not feeling good about it and keeping that within you to make you more motivated for this season?
Excuse me, definitely. I think it's a constant reminder, like you said, just to grow as a team as individuals to get better, and to make sure that when we come against a team like that again, that we're prepared and we know what's expected and what's expected of us to get the job done and to go further. I think it's very easy to say, like, we're returning most of the team back and we can easily do the same thing again, but I don't think as a team we have that mindset. Like, we're never satisfied. We constantly want to get better. We want to do even better than last year. And I think in the NCAA tournament last year, we got that glimpse, and I think that's something that we won't forget. It's weird because we kind of remember that more than we won the A10 championship, like that burning desire to want to go even further this year. So that constant chip on our shoulder is pushing us throughout this preseason.
Coach, you mentioned during Colonial Invasion, how much is your focus this year not only on making this team a championship level team every year, but making it a team that the GW community notices?
Yeah, I think we have 15 unbelievable young women that their stories are so much more than the ability that Lauren Chase can push the ball up the floor or Caira Washington can finish in traffic or rebound the ball. I just think that part of when you see our team play, it's an exciting brand of basketball, but what goes on in their everyday lives outside of basketball, to me, is even more amazing. Because I think that they are a group that they are growing as individuals, as basketball players, but it's really fun, to have, Lauren and Caira that, this is the third year to be around them, and really 3.5 when Lauren came partway through my first year. It's just having the community see that part of things. Our kids do unbelievable things, as do a lot of student athletes and students here at GW, but I think we have that vehicle of basketball to be able to share that with the community. And in stories with it's Jonquel being from the Bahamas and Cammie being from Columbia, but also Caira being from almost Columbia, Maryland, not too far away. It's just, I think that part, I feel blessed every day that my 11-year-old daughter looks up to all 15 of them. And I just want to make sure that in today's day and age, where I think there's so much media attention on our college athletes, true student athletes, I'm lucky every single day I get to work with them, helping them work towards their goals, and not only their goals to play at the next level basketball wise, but their goals to give back. When you've suffered adversity, as Lauren has with her concussions, of her wanting to give back and getting her master's in rehabilitation counseling, and Caira's goals of wanting to be on a USA basketball team, as much as her impacting young lives that she did this summer working in an internship with foster children. And I just think that part of it's great to see the example that our women are doing on a daily basis, because they truly are student athletes.
Coach Zip, can you talk about Kelly Prangy as she moves into her second year, and how important it is for her, or how much progress she's made in 1 year, and the importance for her in the front court with you guys?
Yeah, Kelly had an unbelievable summer. She was fantastic. And I think Lauren and Caira, as you can see them shaking their head, there were a lot of days Kelly Prangy was our best player. And we've looked at that of how we can incorporate 3 post players into the lineup. And I think that part of their skill sets are always very different between Jonquel and Caira and Kelly. But I think Kelly has put it on herself, I think, to be in not just be in great physical shape, but to make sure that she's increased her game. And I think playing against Caira and Jonquel every single day in practice after a year forces you to do that. But she has a great mindset, and I think this summer has just built a lot of confidence. I think a big part is she elected to do some things just from recreating her body and changing her nutrition with Brandy Walker, that's going to put her in a better position to be able to be stronger throughout the longer college season. And I think she has great examples in how Caira has changed her eating habit and gotten stronger and increased her game. And I think if there's a word that helps her get better on a daily basis that our team shares, is this just the competitiveness of how they want to win every drill they're in, and she wants to make sure she is a part of that more often than not.
For the 4-year seniors that you have on the team, for you, if you look back at the journey that you've been on for the last 4 years, what is it like heading into this season with, last year you did take people by surprise, and you're not going to do that anymore, and obviously that factors into how you play the games, but what is that like for you to think about as a program?
Well, it's just, Lauren Chase and Jonquel Jones took a chance on me, and I'll never forget that part of things when they decided to transfer here. But with Alexis Chandler and Aaliyah Brown and DeLacy Anderson, they were kind of in limbo, having signed with the previous coaching staff. And I think I made it a point when I was hired here to go visit them in their own homes and for them to explain to me why they'd made that decision to come to GW. And if I thought they had come here just for basketball or just to live in Washington, D.C., I think we would have had a pretty heart-to-heart conversation that maybe this wasn't the best fit, because I had an expectation that they were going to have this unmatched experience in the 4 years there. I think it leads for them to have a greater appreciation. No offense to Caira, but Caira's run 52 games in the last 2 years. Caira didn't go through a 14 and 16 season like the 4 seniors did, or 5 seniors did. You're a grad student.
Yeah.
I guess I can get away with that. And so I just think that part of, I've watched each group of graduating seniors write a different chapter to the end of and establish their legacy at GW. And I think with Aaliyah and Alexis and DeLacy, it is wonderful to watch because they have truly been a part of this from day one. You know, they were the 3 that saw all of a sudden in the national championship game when they leaked that I had become the head coach at GW. And I think they take a lot of pride. Each of them talks to the 2 freshmen a lot about what the expectations are. And I think they know how important they've been to making sure this program is on the right track. And the maturity level of those 3, knowing that, you know, collectively they haven't started a game in their career, but they have been every bit as important as the people who have started every single game, because they believed in what we've tried to do. They have utilized the resources and the experience here at GW to get themselves set for the next part of their life. And I'm really excited we get a chance this year to take all 3 of them home. And we finally got the game in Illinois. It took a little while to get a chance to take DeLacy home and to take Alexis and Aaliyah home over Thanksgiving, because they've given so much back to our program. It's great that their friends and families will get a chance to see them play.
Personally, I just want to do the best I can for my teammates. Just making everybody else on the team better. Personally, I hope to be able to make an A-10 conference team this year. That's a really big goal of mine, but collectively, mainly my goals are aimed towards the team, and just making everybody on the team better and just getting wins and being successful on the court.
In regards to John Quell, coach, was there a decision to be made about coming back for another season?
There was never a discussion, to be totally honest. I think it has been her, she's communicated to us that it's as important for her to get her degree in criminal justice as it is to play professionally. And I think that question is going to come up more and more after Jewel Lloyd's decision and Amanda Zawi at Minnesota. But I think as everyone on our team felt, John Quell felt like we had unfinished business. And I think it's not easy with the attention I think that John Quell gets, but she's had to make a couple of really important decisions from the spring and the summer with the Bahamian national team, understanding going into her senior year that she knows she will have that part of things, that the timing of it wasn't great this past year, and she knew and felt like it was more important that she was there for her teammates and collectively together. But I can tell you, as far as anything with her future play, it's never even been a topic of discussion. And I think that part of, she feels like it's as important for her to lead our team in our Colonial Energy rating every single day, as opposed to looking towards the end of what opportunity she may have once she graduates. And I think we've tried to treat it the same way. I've had pretty good experience in that at Notre Dame, and obviously we've had players that I've had a chance to coach here playing professionally now. But I think that part of still having that chapter, and I think she feels so fortunate to be able to, write it with Lauren, who she played in high school with, but also with Alexis, Aaliyah, and DeLacy. What are those seniors going to leave their mark as after being here at GW?
What has scheduling been like now that you guys have gotten so much more recognition? How has that changed since you got here?
It's one of the reasons we hired a new senior associate athletic director. I'll be honest, it's difficult. We want to schedule the toughest teams we can play, both home and away, to get ourselves ready for the A-10 tournament. for the A10 play, as well as the tournament and then postseason play. I'm big on trying to schedule different styles so that when we play St. Bonaventure, who is unique, that we've already seen something like that in the non-conference. But I think people realize not only what we were able to do against top RPI programs last year, but the opportunity we could do it again. So you can imagine trying to have somebody start a series in the Smith Center this year was really, really difficult. And so we made the decision to try to go on the road and knowing that we could get great teams, hopefully, to start, if we started on the road and they would return it. And I can tell you we had 5 different series and discussions with teams that were in the so-called Power 5 conferences that I went 0 for 5. People backed out. And again, I really credit Stanford to be able to start a series and knowing they're coming back here in 2016-17 and for Illinois to do the same. But I think that is a good problem to have when you're scheduling. That means people see where you've taken the program. But it's really important, I feel like that we maintain playing as many people as we can in the district and in Maryland and Virginia. With Georgetown, we are in the midst of a series. We could not get a common date this year. And so that was nothing on either university's part. We definitely want to continue that. But to be able to take people home will always be my goal, and I think Thanksgiving's been very good to us. 2 years ago at the Georgia State tournament to get Keisha Miller and Bria Bourgeois home last year. To get somebody home in the Bahamas, I can't seem to recall who in our roster we took home. But then to be able to do it again this year because we've had families be able to all be there and be a part of it. I know our players want to play the best teams, and I know it's going to prepare us. And it took us until about a week ago to get that last game, but we were able to do that, and hopefully that will have us ready not only for conference play this year, but as it sets up with return games to be able to bring some more great teams here to the Smith Center in the future.
Yeah.
Caira, Coach mentioned earlier you made some significant strides in your game over the summer. What in particular were you focused on working on within the offseason?
For one, also probably being a leader to the freshmen and sophomores. Also, ball handling, pushing up the court a little bit, and as well as working on driving it from the key and going opposite. And usually I don't do that. I go straight to traffic, but now he's giving me the opportunity in practice to work on a lot of that now.
Question for Lauren and Caira. Coach spoke about the colonial energy factor that John Fell brings to the court. Could you speak to that?
So we have the colonial energy rating, and it's basically, it measures like how many high fives you have per practice, if you're taking charges, diving on the floor. So mainly just giving yourself up for the team, just making sure you're having that, like we call it the power of touch, where you're just constantly like dapping each other up after drills and everything like that. So just basically like factors that are making you a better team player.
It's really good to have a computer science manager who has a giant formula for it all. And it's everything from making eye contact and putting your hand on somebody's shoulder when you're talking to them in a huddle. And I think our freshmen figured out really quickly how much we huddle and how much the power touch is something to me that is not just important. It has to happen. And I think the biggest part about the power of touch is it helps us get through times of adversity, and it is something that is ultimately always controllable with our team.
Whose idea was this, Coach?
So we started charting it a year ago in the preseason. The initial idea came from a study done, even though I'm a Cleveland guy, it was when LeBron lost with the Heat. Not that I am happy that he's back with Cleveland, because I am. But the first year LeBron was in Miami, they lost to the Dallas Mavericks, and they charted all these things. Every game, every high five, every charge taken. We have a formula based on how much an offensive rebound's worth. A charge is worth 5 high fives. loose balls, jump balls forced, but in the NBA Finals series in 2011 with the Heat and the Mavericks, they charted it, and the Mavericks had over double the amount total of their energy rating than the Heat did. And I think that part, we just saw a way last year to incorporate it that already fit what we thought our team was, and I think the team chemistry and how we could grow from that. And we talked to our team about it. We charted every day. We charted every game, and as we talk about statistical things, we make sure the team knows who the leaders are and who needs to improve at that.
Oh yeah, we have a question from Twitter. You touched on it earlier, Coach, with the new rules and the change to 4 quarters. And I know you said it's quicker to get into the bonus and such, but do you see that impacting your strategy at all, and in particular the rotations?
Yeah, I think it changes how when you're going to sub. With a half, a 20-minute half, and media timeouts every 4 minutes. You could really try to sneak somebody some time around a media timeout 30 seconds before, use the media break. And I think one thing I've tried to do all throughout the summer is talk to as many WNBA, NBA personnel, as well as international coaches that are already on the 4-quarter system, and talk to them a little bit about rotation. I think you look and you see when do the Cavs take out LeBron? When does Golden State take out Steph Curry and Klay Thompson? Is it different for post players and guards? And trying to build part of that. I think with how the timeouts can be called and you can play a much longer stretch now, we've tried to incorporate that part from day one into our preseason conditioning, so that our kids understand that part of, I think you start to, it does take a physical toll on you, but mentally you have to be mentally tough to be able to get through those periods. But I think that part of the rotation, we will be deep again, and the way we play, it's a necessity with the pace that we're going to play at. Is still that understanding, can we get from timeout to timeout? Last year it was a 4-minute burst. Now it's a 5-minute burst, but an understanding a little bit how you use the quarter breaks a little bit to get by some people some time, to make sure that they're fresh. I think with the bonus situation, and we ran into it in our scrimmage today, you have to understand from an aggressive standpoint how you're going to approach the game. It definitely is going to lead to increased scoring. With our one team today was in the bonus 2 minutes and 39 seconds into the first quarter. And the second quarter, the team did a much better job of not being in the bonus. But I need them to still be aggressive and just not foul. And obviously for us to have backup plans with how we're guarding in that way. I think you'll see a lot of teams change defenses to try to protect people so that people aren't living at the free throw line.